All right, so we got the heavily anticipated February CPI data this morning, the inflation data, and guys, we're finally getting some green in the stock market as inflation came in better than expected. We're going to break down the numbers, the stock market here, which initially shot up after we got the data, and now we've given back a good amount of the gains. SPY's down $10 from where it was in the pre-market, although it's still up 0.3% on the day. And QQQ is at, let's see, where are we at now? About 475. We were at 481 in the pre-market, but QQQ is still up about 1%. So we're going to break down everything that you need to know, what stocks I'm watching now, the whole 9 yards, guys, the data. So hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, and get those 30 stocks from Moomoo with at least a $100 deposit. You get 5 stocks with at least a $2,000 deposit. You get 25 more stocks, and the clock's ticking, guys. Use that link down below or go to stocks.com/Moomoo. And with that being said, cheers, let's dive into it. So inflation, the heavily anticipated February data is officially out, and it's some good news that the stock market has been begging for. We finally got some good news, right? CPI came in better than expected, and let's just get into the article, guys. Why am I yapping over here? Let me actually pull up the release so we can break down some numbers. So this is the actual release from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS, right? And I'll pop my big old head down here to the right. I'll make this a little bit bigger. And actually, before we dive into the actual release here, let me pop up this article from CNBC. We can see the headline, inflation rate eased to 2.8% in February, lower than expected, right? Let's come down here a little bit. Prices for goods and services moved up less than expected in February, providing some relief as consumers and businesses worry about the looming impact tariffs might have on inflation, which obviously we're not going to get really the results or the impact from the tariffs for at least a couple more months here, but hey, we got some good data for now, guys. The CPI, which if you didn't know is a wide-ranging measure of costs across the U.S. economy, ticked up a seasonally adjusted 0.2% for the month, putting the annual inflation rate at 2.8%. And the all-item CPI had increased 0.5% in January, if you guys didn't remember. And that, well, it's a big drop month over month from January to February, which is great. And this chart right here shows you the graph over time. And the dotted blue line, we have core CPI, right? Less food and energy. Then we have the headline and the solid line. They're both heading in the right direction, which is down. And excluding food and energy, core CPI, that rose 0.2% on the month, and it was 3.1%, or it was at 3.1% on a 12-month basis, and the core CPI had climbed 0.4% in January. So headline dropped month over month, and core, which is great. And economists surveyed by Dow Jones had been looking for 0.3% increases on both headline and core, with respective annual rates of 2.9 and 3.2%, meaning that all of the rates were 0.1% less than expected. So that's really good. Very good news. And obviously, that's why the market took off in the morning. Yes, we gave back some of the gains. Yes, the Dow is in the red, but I'll take it. I'll take it. And who knows? It's still about 10:40 a.m. right now. Dow might go green later in the day. We might recover some of the losses that we've seen intraday so far on SPY, on QQQ. The market's still young today, guys. It is still young. So let me show you now this right here, which again is the actual release that you can find. Just type in CPI data on Google, guys. CPI data, BLS, and it'll pop up. Click that PDF button, and you'll be able to see all this stuff. So we can see the different categories here. Let me run through some of these categories that stand out to me. I'm pretty sure shelter was up again, a good chunk, which accounted for a lot of the inflation. Let's see, where's that at? So food came down a bit. Food at home was at 0 compared to 0.5% in January. Food away from home came up. It actually doubled up from 0.2 in January to 0.4 in February. And I was reading egg prices. They were up like 10%. Let me actually double check that. I think that was in this article. Let's see here. Within food, egg prices soared another 10%, 10.4 to be exact, taking the 12-month increase to 58.8% and pushing a broader measure that also includes meat, poultry, and fish up 7.7% on the month, or on the year, excuse me. Beef prices also climbed 2.4% in February. That's a big pop there in beef prices. So food's going up, guys. Beef, eggs, you name it. Eggs especially, unbelievable. Let's see. Energy came down a good chunk on the overall category here, which is good. I'm pretty sure used cars and trucks dropped. Yeah, they did. Used cars and trucks were 2.2% in January. That dropped to 0.9% in February, which is good. New vehicles was at 0 in January. Now it's at minus 0.1, which is good. Apparel popped a little bit from minus 1.4 in January to now 0.6 in February. So nothing honestly too crazy here that stands out to me in these categories. I mean, other than eggs, which we're not really seeing eggs specifically on this chart, but we saw it on that CNBC article. Eggs are going up, meat's going up, but nothing too crazy other than that, honestly, at least as of now. Again, we finally got something. The stock market finally got something to run with, at least in the short term. And coming back over here to the charts, guys, we need to, if the bulls want to, or if this is a legitimate rally, we're going to have to recover here, man. If we just give back all the gains and go red on QQQ, it was all for nothing pretty much, the pop this morning, because we can see it is starting to give back some gains. We're only up 0.75%, but at one point we were up close to 2% in the pre-market, guys. And if we pop up some of these longer-term charts, the 1 hour time frame shows we are getting rejected at the 180 SMA. You guys see that right here on QQQ, and on the 30-minute chart, you're seeing it as well. We're getting rejected at the 180 SMA, which is not ideal. We need to break out of that, whether it's tomorrow, next week, I don't know. But overall, this needs to break for the trend to continue, right? You notice that on QQQ, or for the breakout, not the trend to continue, but for the breakout to actually occur. And you're noticing it here on SPY. This is actually about to go red, guys. What a short-lived pop there on SPY. But yeah, it got rejected at the 180 SMA. Now it's down a good chunk from the pre-market high. We're down like $11, about 2%. So we gave back all the gains pretty much. The Dow's now down almost 1%. The Dow is just not having it lately. The Dow's just been destroyed. Every day it's down. It seems like the last couple of days more than the other indexes, which isn't usually the case. But the Dow's now almost in correction territory, and the Russell is down as well, about 0.25%. Down officially about 18-19% from the highs here, and SPY's about to go red. It's about to go red literally right now. VIX is down, by the way, about 3%, which is good. But with that being said, guys, there are a lot of stocks that are moving. We have NVIDIA popping, which I was buying the dip. NVIDIA's up 4.5%. Not bad. It's at $113.75 right now. We have stocks like Tesla moving, which, this was definitely due for a relief rally. We're getting it up 5.5%. Stocks like CrowdStrike are moving, which I bought more at 305, 306 a couple days ago. Now we're up 3.5%. We're in the mid 300s again. Micron's moving. MU's the ticker, up around 5%. So yeah, we are going red on the Dow and on the Russell. SPY might flip red any second now, but a lot of these stocks, big names, are actually bouncing back. As volatility's dying down, it's still high. I mean, it's at 26, the VIX is, but it's down 3%. But, you know, we're getting a bit of a bounce back on some of these names. Will it last? That's the million-dollar question. We'll break down, of course, a bunch of these stocks throughout the day today, so make sure to subscribe, hit the like button. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Join the email list, which is free, by the way, link down below. I send out my top stocks weekly, and you might as well get your 30 stocks from Moomoo. Deposit at least $100 using that link down below. You get 5 stocks. Deposit at least $2,000. You get 25 more stocks, and your uninvested cash now will earn up to 8.1% APY. Guys, I'm telling you, it's a no-brainer. So check out the link down below. The clock's ticking, or go to stocksurfest.com/Moomoo. And with that being said, cheers. I'll catch you in the next video.